Yeah, rivals, it's a dangerous guy because it's a boxing. One punch, go home. This is dangerous, man. I know, but.
So therefore, the only way, if anyone is to beat him, is by knockout. And this isn't Floyd Mayweather boxing at 147 pounds and probably being in the ring at 155, maybe something like that. This is Oleksandr Usyk.
Number 1 and number 2 in these defenses.
Yeah.
Fury perceived number 1. AJ at the time 1. Dubois number 2. He's taken like, all right, who's the next in line? Right, I'm fighting him.
Yeah.
That's the way he's doing it.
Yeah, Oleksandr Usyk is one of the most dangerous men in boxing today. This isn't like Floyd Mayweather at 147 pounds, carefully controlling distance and fighting within a narrow weight range. This is Usyk, facing giants, often giving up 30 or 40 pounds, and still finding ways to dominate. His beaten champions one after another. Joshua,
Don't be afraid.
Good evening, hope you're enjoying our Monday night football coverage. Oleksandr Usyk, not a bad striker in his time. Thierry and Jamie are in studio. If you were fighting Thierry Henry, how would you get inside of his head?
Yeah, Terry is great player, but hey, Terry, my legs be better with you. Terry, don't be afraid. My legs better.
What'd you make of that?
Sometimes you have to stay in your lane, and I will stay in my lane.
Fury, Dubois, and now the WBO has ordered him to defend against Joseph Parker. Usyk isn't slowing down, even as is admitted he only has 2 fights left before retirement. When asked about Floyd, Usyk playfully mocked Mayweather in an interview, claiming his legs were still stronger and faster. It wasn't just a joke, it was a bold statement of confidence, a reminder that his conditioning and durability remain elite. He even extended that sense of humor to
From Usyk that he's got 2 more fights in the bag at this point, that you reckon, yeah?
I interviewed him before. I sat down with him and had a chat with him before the Dubois fight. And yeah, he was just like, I've got 2 fights left.
So he's never fought in the Ukraine, he's never fought in his home country, or defended his title, I should say. So that's got to be on his wish list.
I would imagine so, but with what's going on in this country,
Yeah.
it's just a disgrace. It's still going on. That's not going to happen anytime
Not
soon.
anytime soon, no. But hopefully we'll get some peace there, and then maybe he will get the chance
I'd love to, yeah. I'd love to see peace in his country and for him and his family. And that would be an amazing event.
football legend Thierry Henry, joking about having better legs than him too. That's Usyk, calm, funny, but brutally serious once the bell rings. The intrigue is only growing as Usyk enters the final stretch of his career. Fans are waiting to see if he'll finally get the chance to fight in Ukraine, though with the ongoing war, it's unlikely in the immediate future. Still, whether it's Parker, Jay Opetaia, or another heavyweight, his last opponents will carry the weight of history with them. Joseph Parker's resurgence makes him an intriguing test. With big wins over Wilder and Bacol, he's shown grit and skill. But if
My gut feeling is that Joseph Parker fights for the WBO belt, but he doesn't fight Oleksandr Usyk. He fights the next man up. I haven't got the list in front of me, so I don't know the rankings. So I guess if you're Joseph Parker, the question is, I mean, what is it you want? Ultimately, if you want a world title shot and you think you've been blackballed from getting a world title shot or pushed to the back, then, well, here it is. Here's your world title shot. You're going to fight for a world title, right? But if you're Joseph Parker, and I spoke to Andy Lee, it isn't just a case of fighting for a world title. You want to fight the number 1 for the world title, and that guy is Oleksandr Usyk. I would have given Joseph Parker the mic. And I would like Joseph Parker, because there's a mean side to Joseph Parker. I think everyone sees the friendly side. I've seen the mean side. And I wanted Joseph Parker to say, I want my shot. You've been ducking me. All these things might not be true, but do it. Sell it. The crowd would have gone a bit wild, right? Because I think a lot of the crowd want Joseph Parker to get his shot. But that's not what happened.
Parker truly wants his legacy, it has to be against Usyk himself, not just a vacant title shot. Analysts say Parker needs to show that mean side, demand the fight, and make his case. Because Usyk isn't just another champion, he's the champion. Meanwhile, Jay Opetaia has openly called out Usyk, respecting him as a legend but seeing him as a dream opponent. For the younger generation, facing Usyk isn't just about belts, it's about testing themselves against.
I know a goal of yours is to go to heavyweight. You're giving me a little smirk. Like, is that like a dream scenario for you to fight one of those 2 guys?
I would love to fight Usyk, you know, respectfully. You know, I've always been so close to him, you know what I mean? Like, I was But I was 16 years old. I qualified for the Olympics. I competed at 17, little kid, and he won that Olympic Games. Like, I've always been there, you know what I mean? I've always just been, it wasn't my time yet, you know, but I feel like my time's coming.
Against greatness. That's how much respect Usyk commands. What separates Usyk from so many others is the road he chose. He didn't chase easy fights, he hunted challenges. He cleaned out cruiserweight in the World Boxing Super Series, then jumped straight into the fire at heavyweight, taking on the best names right away. His 2 wins over Tyson Fury proved his place among the all-time elite. Analysts now openly compare him with Evander Holyfield, another cruiserweight who conquered heavyweight. The difference
is by knockout. And this isn't Floyd Mayweather boxing at 147 pounds and probably being in the ring at 155, maybe something like that. This is Oleksandr Usyk, who is fighting big men, sometimes giving up 40-pound weight advantages. And unfortunately, that does mean that if Oleksandr Usyk goes on for 4, 5, 6 more fights, of course, he is going to be defeated, in my opinion. But I would love that to not be the case. I would love it to not be the case. What I would love to be the case right now, as a boxing fan, is Oleksandr Usyk to walk off into the sunset. I think he's proven everything that he could possibly prove. And there's been debates, and especially I remember after the first few Joshua fights, there were debates over sort of Oleksandr Usyk's status compared to Evander Holyfield.
Usyk arguably faced a tougher cruiserweight division and unified it in dominant fashion. Mayweather's legacy is built on precision, perfection, and control. Usyk's legacy is built on risk, courage, and brilliance. One was untouchable in defense, the other thrives in pressure and warfare. Both are pound-for-pound greats in their own right, but Usyk has done it against the biggest men in the sport, not just the best technicians. His win over Daniel Dubois was another masterclass. While Dubois had power and size, Usyk's footwork, timing, and adaptability broke him down. By the end, Dubois looked like a beaten man, his fighting spirit drained before the
fights over sort of Oleksandr Usyk's status compared to Evander Holyfield. Listen, that argument, a lot of people wanted to rubbish that at first. That argument is a real argument that can be made now, because when you look at what Oleksandr Usyk's done, remember Evander Holyfield was in a cruiserweight division that I'm not going to say was in its infancy, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't the cruiserweight division that Oleksandr Usyk was in. The cruiserweight division that Oleksandr Usyk was in, I believe, was a more stacked, more competitive cruiserweight division. And the way Usyk left that division, he left it by cleaning it out. The World Boxing Super Series tournament was something that actually got the best fighting the best and got the best names coming into it and entering, and we weren't really seeing that at the time.
Final count. It was a clear message. Usyk doesn't just win, he dismantles. Promoters like Turki Alalshik have made it clear, big fights are coming, with knockout bonuses on the line to stop dancing matches and force action. If anyone embodies that spirit, it's Usyk. He's never taken an easy path, never ducked a challenge, never looked for shortcuts. That's why Derek Chisora called him the White Muhammad Ali. Not because of trash talk, but because of the style, grace, and brilliance he brings to heavyweight boxing. Even now, at 38, Usyk is getting better. Analysts note that each of his last fights has shown improvements, sharper, more aggressive, more dominant. He fights with what some call a quiet fury.
I think Floyd is one of the worst fighters ever. That's my hot take on Floyd. Now let me stop trolling. Now that I got y'all baited in. I think we always say like, oh, how great Floyd is. But when you really sit there and think about it, Floyd was really special. Like, when we talk about generational, it's going to be a very, very, very long time till we see Floyd. Like, Pernell was great. He was a great defensive wizard. Pernell trapped himself a lot. He was able to find himself out of his own traps. Pernell would give up outside lead foot position to a lot of big punchers, and he was still able to be elusive and get away. That's impressive. Floyd would sit on the ropes against guys like Canelo, Pacquiao, De La Hoya, Cotto, and either evade every shot or get away. Generation, like, Floyd is crazy. He's not my favorite fighter. He's far from my favorite, but I mean, I think he's the best pound-for-pound fighter of all time. I don't think there's much debate for it. Did Floyd fight everybody he was supposed to? No, we got to be honest. He just didn't. Most people don't. Did Floyd fight everybody at their best? No, that's impossible. Was Floyd the most slippery, defensively sound, technical boxers of all time? Hell yeah. Like I said, I'm not the hugest Floyd fan, but I just sit here watch him dominate my boy Canelo. You guys know Canelo, he's one of my favorite, but God, Floyd, different type of boxer, you know. We hated him when he was here. I kind of miss Floyd now.
He knows he's underappreciated in certain circles, and that only drives him harder. Whether it's Parker, Opetaya, or another challenger, Usyk's remaining fights are more than matchups. They're the final chapters of a legendary career. And when he does step away, it will be as a fighter who didn't just collect belts, he redefined courage, skill, and legacy in the heavyweight division. That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more breakdowns, and until next time, please like and subscribe my YouTube channel.